Oh, no way. Oh my God! No way! Oh my God!
I'm wrong. Technically correct is best correct. So. All right, well, I guess with that, welcome everybody to episode 106 of 1 million of the Serial Chillers podcast here from the Super Network studio. I am here in studio with hella Greg, and let me ask you as soon as I have a soundboard up, fuck.
Nice.
Go with take two.
Nope. Leave in the awkward sound.
How goes it?
Yeah.
Hella Greg.
I'm good, man. I was having like a weird existential thing earlier, but I'm over it now. I feel good.
Care to elaborate, or don't want to get back into it?
I don't want to get back into it. I don't even want to look at it when I walk by it.
Deep emotional ties. All right. Well, good to have you here, Greg. It's nice to not have you 66.6 feet directly below us.
I think that had something to do with it.
Yeah, 66 point. You can see the daylight. That's what it is. I've got it.
I'm not used to natural light.
All right. Well, don't forget to follow the show anywhere you guys can on Facebook, Serial Chillers Podcast. Twitter is at Chillers Podcast. Instagram, Serial Chillers Podcast. Email, the same. Put Gmail at the end. Call or text the show, 1-805-666-2513. SerialChillersPodcast.threadless.com for all that sweet fucking merch. SerialChillersPodcast.com for stickers. And I always say updates, but we don't update it. Rate and review on everything, please. Patreon.com/SerialChillersPodcast to give as little as $1 a month. $5 a month gets you the bonus show, hella conspiracies, stickers, all that good shit. Also, don't forget to check out Super Simpsons show if it's ever coming out again, and Death & Co. podcast. Also, thanks to He Who Seeks Vengeance for the theme song you just heard. Now, time for some guest introductions. All right, these guys traveled to be here too, so thank you guys for that. I'm going to introduce you as a pair, and I'll let you guys figure out how you're going to do it. But we like to have other podcasts on the show. It's not often they can make it into the studio to do it. So welcome, 1 Hour Photo Podcast, Sam and Dave. Hey guys.
What's up, man? This is Sam, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Hi, I'm Dave.
Hi.
Will you guys be able to tell the difference between them by the end?
No.
Probably not.
Probably not.
You guys just sounded a lot alike.
I know. I tried.
I can't see their mouths moving, and I'm having trouble.
This is like some fucking Jeff Dunham act going on. What the hell?
Yeah,
Get out of here with that bullshit. Yeah, no, we are the 1 Hour Photo Podcast. Thanks for having us.
I will say our intro is not as good as yours.
Not even close.
Ours is
None
shit.
of this is good.
Yeah, it's true.
Like literally, like just the air we're breathing isn't as good as
right, we're not
Here
worthy.
is what's up. You are welcome to use any of it. You were going to steal it anyway.
Sure
So
are.
I might as well give you permission.
Hell yeah.
You guys are going to need those to answer some questions here today. There's a bucket of pens. That white one won't write on paper, so don't even bother.
Why the fuck is it in there then?
That's my Apple pen.
It's like $900, dude.
It's called a stylus, Sam.
Oh, my bad. I broke
Okay,
it.
I'm sure it'll be fine. You need to take that off to charge.
You charge it?
Yeah, man. I like draw and take
What do
notes.
you think you can
It's
just
Apple.
have a pen
You
and
have to
write with
charge
it?
everything.
It is hot.
Sorry, boys. The AC will go back on the break in 45 minutes or so, and yeah. Forget it. I don't need a hat. Fucking we'll do it live. So, welcome, dudes. Very
Thanks.
good to have you.
Thanks for having
Stoked to
us.
be here.
Tell everybody where they can find you and stuff too.
Bakersfield in the basement.
Yeah.
Perfecto.
Yeah. Now we are on Instagram at 1 Hour Photo. What is our Instagram?
1 Hour Photo Podcast.
Okay, well there we go. Sam, just go ahead and explain.
Yeah,
'Cause
Twitter.
I don't care.
Twitter at 1 Hour Photo PC. Since you can't have a longer
Exactly.
Twitter handle
That's
for some
fine.
reason.
And we're
Assholes.
totally politically correct. So I mean, hey,
we are politically correct.
Check your privilege, bro.
Yeah. It's all PC Ohio, bro. Where else are we at? We're just on
are we on
Twitter.
Facebook?
We are on the Facebook 1 Hour Photo. Also, should we plug a? What do you think? Well,
Yeah.
head over to podbelly.com.
There you go.
That's one of our sponsors. They have a ton of podcasts on there, not just ours, but you can find all of our content on that website as well, or wherever you get your podcast. You know,
Just find it.
Apple,
Google it.
Spotify.
That's what
Google
everyone.
it. Fucking Google it.
Just
Yeah.
Google it.
Sure.
Google 1 Hour Photo Podcast,
you go.
Bakersfield,
There you go.
basement, two fat
Are
guys.
There, bros,
Yeah.
and
Find it.
Broettes. Okay, so guest introductions done. Check. All right, you guys know how the show works, I think. Let me explain it for anybody that doesn't. Each week, I sit down with old friends, new friends, good friends, and bad friends to tell the story of an infamous serial killer. Throughout the show, you guys can chime in on my story, and if you brought a story of your own that is true crime, dark, creepy, unsolved, or otherwise mysterious, please feel free to share it. Lastly, if you have questions about questions, make sure to ask questions, because I cannot answer questions about questions if you never ask questions.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I followed that.
Are there any questions?
Not for me.
No, I'm fine.
Beard?
Then welcome to and let's play the Serial Chillers Podcast. All right, guys. Today's killers are what?
We got 2, 3.
I'll take him.
Gerald Gallego or Gallego and Charlene Williams.
I like Gallego.
Yeah, all right. Gerald Gallego. Except for it makes it sound like Gallego, which I fucking love as an arcade game, and I don't want this guy to be associated with that, so...
Or
I can't
Gallagher, who's one of my
I was
favorite
gonna say,
comedians.
or a guy who smashes fruit.
What about Black Gallagher? He has warrants.
True.
All right, let me hit all my references here really quick. I used the documentary Teenage Killers, Gerald and Charlene Gallego. It was a crime documentary. Radford University Timeline, information, research, and summarized by Jordan Christensen, Crystal Cobb, Nina Kritz, and Christine Miles. The Gerald Gallego Wikipedia, Charlene Williams Wikipedia, Gerald and Charlene Gallego by David Lohr, an article on francisfarmersrevenge.com. Gerald Gallego's Murderpedia, and The Sex Slave Murders. It was a book by R. Barry Flowers. All right, guys. This is how it all starts. Question number 1. In what year was Gerald Gallego born? Closest to the answer is going to get 250 points. 1,000 if you could nail it. Just what year was he born? Take that name. Place it in a time period. Tell me, what year? Is it 1712?
No.
The year is 3055.
That's going to be like an episode 194. It's like, we just started making up serial killers.
Just start predicting the future.
Someone get out there
first
and
cave-
commit some crimes.
First caveman serial killer.
If you hear your name, go out and commit crimes. Today's killer's name is...
Dave! Shit, I gotta go, guys.
Yeah, see ya. I'm going to say...
I was going to say, you're welcome to write down your answers. You can say them out loud if you trust the other person not to try to steal your answers.
So what year was he born?
What year was he born? It's gonna be
1953.
53. Sam says.
I was
Yep, I know. You don't have to.
I was
I
going
know.
there. 19...
Well, I already went there, so you can't.
So you know it's not
59.
Price, it's not Price is Right rules.
1959.
Son of a bitch.
1959.
53 and 59. That's going to give Dave 250 points because Gerald Gallego was born July 17th, 1946.
Okay.
I almost went lower.
You guys were...
I almost did.
You guys were both like the wheelhouse, though. That was...
I'll take it.
Wrong.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, show's over. Congratulations, Dave.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week. As always, please tune in to I'm Out.
July 17th, 1946, Gerald Armand Gallego Jr. is born to his father, Gerald Albert Gallego, and mother, Elaine Gallego, in Sacramento, California.
Oh, okay.
His father was 19 years old and serving time in San Quentin for auto theft and writing bad checks. He would get out and within just a few days go back to prison again for second-degree robbery. He'd get out after this sentence in early of 1953, but would violate parole and have it revoked. So, our killer today is coming from very good background,
Right.
is what it seems.
Strong parents.
Yes.
Solid family background.
Precisely. So he's going to take off to Mississippi when his parole gets revoked because he's like, you aren't taking me. You won't catch me, copper. Not without. I'll wear a disguise. He's arrested in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, which I didn't realize was a place, for public drunkenness. So you go become a fugitive and then you get picked up for being a drunk asshole at the bar. The town had one officer.
One bar.
He just happened to be the guy sitting next to him.
His name was Bernard Fife.
And as Gerald Sr. was placed into the cell, he overpowered and kidnapped the officer. Oh my God. The officer would
It
later...
was Barney Fife.
Fucking idiot.
Except for that the officer would later be found dead by his own gun just a few days later off the side of the road.
Seems legit.
Shit.
Some Anton Chigurh stuff going on.
Gerald would be caught and he would be put in prison. He's tried and convicted for murder. He would escape prison by throwing an acidic cleaner into the jailer's face and beating him beyond recognition. What? The officer would be dead within just 2 days. Subsequently, on this day, Gerald would be caught. So he killed the lone officer in Ocean Springs, Mississippi.
Allegedly.
And he gets away, and then he gets caught, and he gets put in prison, and the prison guard let him out for whatever time, and he somehow gets a hold of some, whatever acidic cleaner somewhere in the prison and throws it in his face.
Simple Green. It was probably Simple
There
Green.
you go.
Liquid
Concentrated.
asbestos.
They didn't add any water yet.
A cup of bleach.
I mean, whatever it was, and the guy's like, "Ah!" and stumbles backwards, and he beats the shit out of him until his face looks like hamburger meat. And then,
Okay. I was gonna say, if it's acidic, wouldn't it get on his hands as well? If you're,
I imagine it was more
That's
about
a
the
good
burning of
question.
the eyes.
Oh,
right.
And
Well,
even still, if you're getting out of prison, I'm imagining some. You ever seen Shawshank? That was a long poop tunnel. If it's just about some burns on the hands, I'll take it over the poop tunnel.
yeah, I
Yeah.
get you. And I mean, he's already
Chicks dig
he's already
scars.
killed somebody, so because he killed the guy with his own
He's already
gun.
killed a police officer,
Allegedly.
and now he's killed.
Allegedly.
A corrections officer. So allegedly, I guess, suppose as well. So 2 days later, the officer dies, and Gerald Sr. is caught. The officer, he was the first person executed in Mississippi in a gas chamber after they switched from the electric chair.
Nice.
Making history.
Congratulations. Good for
I mean,
him.
if you're gonna go out in style.
Yeah.
What was that?
The Holocaust.
Oh no, you're right. He's right.
I mean, technically.
I mean, we're gas chambering people. I mean,
Oh, it was the electric chair. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking of the end. I was thinking of the end of Monsters Ball. I was gonna say, what was that movie with where
Charlize. No.
no, that was just Monster.
That was Monster, yeah.
Monsters Ball is the one where Halle Berry took it with Billy Bob
Yep.
Thornton. But they
Oh, that's
executed P Diddy in the electric chair. He was
never seen it.
should
I should. Yeah. I mean,
maybe not.
This dude still hasn't seen Shawshank. I think there's like a
Shawshank
laundry
Redemption.
list.
So
of
that
movies
reference
he
like 2
hasn't
minutes
seen.
ago
There's-
just went.
There's
right over
most
his head.
movie references.
Yeah.
There's so much
me out.
media to consume. It's so hard when people are like, you haven't seen this. I'm like, I know, dude, but how the fuck can I have seen that and seen what I've seen? It's not fair.
True.
It's very true.
All right. So, yes, he's the first person executed in Mississippi in the gas chamber. It's the holdover from the electric chair. So, the newfangled contraption. These two men, the Geralds, would never actually meet in person. So, he never really met his dad. He just heard the stories. Just heard tales and, carried his genetic material. Right. Elaine, his mother, is going to turn to sex work after her husband's death and, being in prison for so long. And she would remarry 2 times as well, but Gerald seemed to really get along with his 2 stepfathers at the time.
So Jerry
2
and Elaine.
stepfathers.
Yeah,
This sounds like a really messed up
I did
Seinfeld
not even
episode.
think about that until right now.
I'm waiting for Kramer to come in.
That was
Cosmo!
the stepdad.
Okay, so he gets along with the stepfathers. There's not a whole lot of history there. Question number 2.
Yes.
At what age did Gerald's criminal record begin? The first time he actually, not got taken home and was like, hey, you got to keep him inside. The first time he was actually, there was a report made and his name was on it and it is in a file.
So what age?
At what age
12.
was it?
14.
Asshole.
Sam's got 250 points on that one because 6.
Whoa.
Apparently he's like a little fuck ass from the age of 4 or 5 on.
Holy shit.
But at 6, I want to say that he so he used to go into his, Greg's so mad about this. He used to go into his neighbor's house, his neighbor's trailer, and he would just take stuff. And it was
whacking off in my camper.
Damn it! You are a federal agent. Do not end your sentences in a preposition.
Sorry.
So he been essentially repeatedly told not to go into her home, and she left the door open and all that. And so she started locking up. So he was like, well, then I'll just break windows and I'll just, I'll break it. I'll find a way in. And so that was where it started. At 6 years old, they took him. And I think that even in a small, he was in Sacramento, but he was outside Sacramento. I think that still may have just been a way to all right, look, you're on a, you have an official file on you. And I don't know how official it was, but that's when he gets his first official police report on him. So 6 years old. Hey,
years old.
kindergarten and shit, man.
My son's 5.
Greg, tell me how you're feeling right now. You're seething over there.
A little bit, yeah. Because
Why?
I'm not a big like proponent of hitting kids, but I'm a big proponent of hitting people who need to be hit. And like if your kid keeps breaking into your neighbor's house, like maybe just smack him once. Not
Try it
like
out.
I'm not saying you
Test
have
the waters.
you don't have to go Joe Jackson and beat them until they're
Tear
a
a
star.
switch.
But
He made Thriller, man.
that's what. And I mean, if you do, like, beat them all the way there, like Michael Jackson,
True.
so that at least
That's
they get
fair.
something out of it.
That's fair.
Don't do this half-ass beat them till they're fucking Ike Turner.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But I'm not a huge proponent of hitting kids, but I've definitely kicked a kid in the last
Context.
5 years.
By the way, Greg is not a father.
Someone else's kid.
Yeah, no, definitely not a kid I knew. It was in public.
fair.
It was at a
That's fair.
laundromat.
There's still like a photo of Greg like hung up somewhere where it's like, do not sell quarters to this man.
to be fair, it was a knee.
That's, yeah.
Is that better?
Below the waist, not attempted murder.
No. The kid was like 4. He
was
took
right.
it square in the
He
chest.
And he's like, and I was trying to kill him.
and I flat backed him and then stared down his mom.
Man, all right. Well, anyways,
Respect.
so he's pointing at her.
Don't take my parking
Yeah.
spot.
So, at age 6. So then at age 8, he doesn't really have a whole lot. His mom is mainly doing full-time sex work at this point to help raise the family. There's not a lot of father figures because the two stepfathers are kind of in and out. His one and only friend at around the age of 8 is a puppy he named Queenie. And he said that was his only friend until she ran away. She didn't like you. That's why, Gerald, dumb idiot. September 14th, 1954, around the age of 9, his estranged father is captured in Hinds County, Mississippi for killing an officer in an escape from prison. So that was the acid in the face, bash the guy down.
Right.
I gave you his full rundown. Here's how it's going chronologically.
You got it.
He's the first one executed in the gas chamber, and that was on... So after that killing, they like expedited the... execution so quickly. So he did the killing in September, and in January he was executed.
Damn.
Yeah.
Usually it's fucking, what, like 20 years?
Well, now,
know.
like now they don't kill anybody.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Even though this was the case, Gerald did not know that his father had been executed. He thought that he was still in prison because the family did not ever visit him, and so no information was getting back to their child. He couldn't be like, yo, hey, take me to see my dad, bitch. I guess he could have, but I don't think that would have ended well for him either. March 7th, 1956, he's now 10 years old, and he's going to have his first recorded felony arrest for robbing a neighbor's house. Now, robbery, if you guys will know, is when you go in and you forcefully take what you want.
Well, that's when you take it from the person. Burglary is when you take it from the place.
right, but
Beanie.
isn't a robbery like a burglary? I thought was when no one is home.
Right.
Like he went in.
That's what I'm saying. You take it from the place.
Yeah.
Robbery is when you
He
take
went
it
into
from the
another
person.
neighbor's home, held them at a weapon. I think it was at knife point with a stepbrother of his.
Spork.
How old?
10.
See, again,
Beat his
Yeah, but if it's like an
ass.
old woman, an old feeble woman, and I think that's what we're
fair.
talking here.
That's
I
fair.
think
But
yeah.
I think an old woman with like a stick
Like her cane.
I don't know,
could
man.
take a 10-year-old with a knife.
10 years old, you're in like the 5th grade. Like,
What if she's on oxygen or something?
yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying that.
Busted up
guess.
hip.
Yeah, you could take a 10-year-old. I get it.
Of course, yeah.
Really, I guess
Everyone knows you can take on a 10-year-old.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is to any 10-year-olds out there who are feeling strong.
It's like the very ending of Step Brothers when they land in the helicopter and just start beating the shit out of all those kids in the playground.
There's a website you can go to and you put in like your stats and like how active you are and like your height and weight and do you smoke and all this stuff, and it'll be like, you can fight 65 10-year-olds before
It's a
you're
fucking kid fighting algorithm.
yeah. Like,
God bless the internet.
and
What's
gotta
that
know.
website?
You
I'm just
gotta
going to
know.
Google it.
And
Kid
it-
fighting algorithm.
It
That's
it
not
told
going
me
to
it
get
was
flagged.
like, you can fight 52 10-year-olds before you're overtaken or something like that. And I'm like, I want to test that because I think I can do better.
Hey, but I know some 10-year-olds out there that have like BJJ fucking black belts. So
Well, I was going to
I'm
say, then there's kids out there who are like LeBron James at 10
Right.
years old. And you're just like, fuck.
bigger than me for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
So, he gets his first felonious arrest at the age of 10. Sorry, Greg. Yes, he should have just got his ass beat. Still would have been a felony, though. Before the age of 12, he's got 5 arrests for burglary, 2 for running away, 1 for a malicious act against an animal and one for vandalism. On October 12th, 1958, he got one additional charge that was the most serious, and this was lewd and lascivious acts with a person under the age of 6. He was placed in the Fred C. Nell School for Boys, which is part of the California Youth Authority. July 1961, he is paroled from the facility. So he go from about the age of 12 to 16. He's in this facility. Question number 3. He's let out of the Fred C. Nell facility. How much time will pass before he will reoffend and be caught? Could be months, weeks, days, years. This one's just wide open. If you can nail how much, it's worth 1,000. Closest 250. I swear some of these are multiple choice. It's just starting like this. So he gets out in July of 1961. How long until he reoffends? Is he going to keep his nose clean for a while?
I say 20 days.
20 days.
I'm going to say 3 months.
Dave's going to get the points because it's going to be about 7 months. He's gonna, and that doesn't mean that he wasn't committing crimes. It just means
didn't
that
get caught for 7 months.
Yeah, right. So over those 7 months, pretty much no story. But in February 1st of 1962, he's now 16 years old. He is arrested for armed robbery with one of his half brothers, David Hunt.
Good name.
Yep, he is sentenced to the Preston School of Industry in Ione, California. So I had never heard of Ione, California, so I just wanted to look it up and make sure I was spelling it right. And then I looked up this school, and the school is fucking beautiful, man. And so I looked up a little bit because that's how I get sidetracked and shit. And it's called the Preston School or Preston Castle, and I remember seeing it and being like, that's so fucking cool. And I looked into it, and it was actually in 2013. Or no, actually 13 years after this. So in like 1976 was added to the National Registry of Historic Places. So it's like still like this huge, I think it's now just a museum, but it looks
Where
really
is
fucking,
Ione?
It is in Northern California, if I'm not mistaken, north of Sacramento.
Okay.
Yeah, like up in the hills, if I'm not mistaken either.
Road trip.
Yeah, we're actually road tripping in December, so maybe we'll
Where at?
swing by
You're
Preston.
going up there?
I think we're going to go to Oregon.
Sick.
Yeah, we just like have like 4 days, so we're just like trying to
Get
do
out.
something.
Go
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, just side story, fun fact.
Yeah.
Beautiful place, that Preston Castle in Ione, California. Gerald would escape from the Ione Castle many times. He's finally released and goes to regular public high school. So he's there for like another 2 years and goes to a senior year of high school. But that senior year, he is kicked out of it because of his 6 classes. He had 5 Fs and showed no sign of attempting to be better. His behavior was deplorable, and he rarely showed up to school.
So hold on, that was me in high school.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that sounds like my transcript.
But I think, like, in the state of California, it's still the same. If you're 18 and you're not showing any signs, they'll just be like, yo, you don't go here anymore. That's how this goes. You're an adult. You don't.
Yeah, I turned 18 like early in my senior year. It
Well,
was just,
your mom had your back.
Please don't just put him out. I need him to be somewhere all day. I need somebody else to be accountable for him.
Need a break.
Right. No, I think it was probably had more to do with the No Child Left Behind thing.
Maybe so.
You could leave those children behind. You couldn't do that.
Yeah, in the 70s or whatever it was. It's fine.
So, yeah, he's at regular public school. He's not doing well there. His probation officer at the time said that his social traits were all listed as failures. So they have like this social traits checklist that, you look for in young kids. The probation officers are seeing to like if they're progressing. And there's like a pass, a fail, and like needs work essentially. And he was a failure on all of the like social traits for the list.
I'm feeling personally attacked by this outline.
You didn't know that I made the outline. It's actually about Greg. He would often brag to friends about his crimes, and he had very little sympathy or insight for what his crimes may lead to. So, it's like a sociopath. 1963, 17 years old now, he learns that his father was executed in Mississippi on death row. So this is like, I want to say 8 or 9 years after it happened, but it's the first time that he asks about his dad, and they're like, your dad was killed 8 years ago.
By the state.
By the state of Mississippi killed him. And he's like, well, son of a whore. So,
Never even knew the guy.
yeah, exactly. So he gets married in 1963 when he was 16 and she was 21. So he was out there doing work. I guess.
Damn.
Good for him.
Good job.
April of 1964.
What is it? Nice.
Nice. Yeah, we do need to find him to give him his luckiest boy in the world award. April of 1964, his first child, Krista, is born, and not too long after, his wife would leave Gerald for beating her. Question
Shocker.
number 4.
Yeah.
She said that Gerald would beat her with his fists, which is bad enough. But what else did he regularly use on her? Was it A, a belt, B, a hammer, C, a baseball bat, or D, a pool cue?
Rolls of quarters.
Belt, hammer, baseball bat, pool cue.
I'm gonna go pool cue.
That's what I was going to go with. but-
It's like baseball bat and
from
like
a distance. Just
This one's the whip. You just the skinny end.
I'm going to
put the
say
chalk on it first and just draw on her face.
I don't want to get the same answer as Dave.
Okay, so you don't want pool cue. So there's belt, hammer, and baseball bat.
I'm going to go baseball bat. Fuck
All
it.
right, let's go on baseball bat. So they divorced because of the beatings with the fists, and the beatings also came regularly with a hammer.
Oh my god.
Hammer to the ribs. Hammer to the ribs. was
Regularly?
his-
Or just
That was
it happened
when he wasn't beating her with his fist. He went hammer to the ribs.
What the hell
see,
kind of
I
hammer?
legit would have gone belt because
I
that
wanted to.
seems like the quickest.
I got beat with a belt, but this
Yeah.
dude's obviously
Yeah, but like
not there.
I think he wanted to hurt. Like like hammer to the ribs. That's where,
So use the buckle.
what? How is that hurting more than hammer to the ribs?
It's not hurting more than hammer to the ribs, but you don't have to swing a fucking hammer and it won't leave a bruise, but it still lets her know who's boss.
Jeez, good thing you edit these. After the divorce, both parents are actually going to fight for custody, with Gerald initially winning out. Only a few months later, he would relinquish those rights to the mother.
I made a mistake.
Well, let me tell you why. It would later turn out that he had repeatedly sexually abused his own daughter over those
Oh my
months before
God.
returning her to
Okay.
her mother.
I hate this
Say
guy.
it again.
Great
but,
on the court
without
system
Me,
for-
without me laughing first.
I'll let you figure it out.
God damn it.
July 12th, 1966, he married a West Sacramento waitress, so he's getting kind of right back to it. Less than 1 month passed before the bride saw Gerald's true colors and left him. When she tried, he chased her through the house with a knife before she finally got away. On October 14th, 1967, we're talking like 15 months later, his third wife could barely stand to talk about their relationship later, but she said that he literally just beat her constantly and she couldn't understand it. He was extremely cruel and the marriage lasted just over a month. March of 1969 comes marriage number 4. Her name was Harriet and she was 19 and pregnant. Her father claimed that Gallego was like Jekyll and Hyde. They would also be divorced after just a few months. October 25th, 1969, he and his half-brother David are arrested for armed robbery of a hotel in Vacaville, California. The brothers and one other inmate would escape the jail, but were recaptured and taken to San Francisco to a more secure facility. So they break out of this Vacaville local jail where they've just robbed a hotel. Question number 4, for how long are they on the run before they're caught?
Would it be number 5?
Is it?
I'm pretty sure it's 5.
No.
So that was 3,
Was it?
4. Yeah.
No,
No, yeah.
How many points do you have?
8,000.
You have 3,
Keeping
right?
track of your own points? Jesus,
I have
don't do
1,
that.
so that means it's been 4 questions so far. This would be number 5.
Yeah, I did misnumber them. It's true.
I'm just trying to help you out, man.
No, this happens
Continuity.
a lot.
It just shows how much I'm paying attention.
That's right. Last one.
I'm losing. That's why I'm paying so much attention to the
Perfect.
points.
Okay, so then question number 5. For how long were they on the run before they were caught? That means there's 15 questions today. Not
This is
14.
from breaking out of the facility?
Broke out of the Vacaville jail.
Okay.
And before,
They're caught and taken to San Francisco.
Okay.
How long was in between that?
I'm going to say 3 weeks.
3 weeks out of jail.
Let's say 2 weeks.
2 weeks out of jail. $1, Bob. Sam will get the points because they were on the lam for 4 days.
Oh,
4
see, I was going to go a week,
days.
but
So we're at 500 points apiece, boys. Question number 6 comes quick.
Here we go.
For how long was he sentenced for his crimes? Was it A, 5 years to life, B, 5 to 10 years, C, 10 to 20, or D, 3 years? So this is a second-degree robbery, and now he's escaped Vacaville too, so you got to add some time for that, I suppose. 5 years to life, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 3 years.
I'm going to say 5 to 10.
Don't do that. That's 5 to 10.
Okay, so he broke out, and it was his second
So this is technically this is the only crime he's being charged for at this time.
Okay.
It was a second-degree robbery.
Okay.
And
escaping jail.
his brother, his accomplice, and then one other dude break out from the jail. They're on the lam for 4 days. This is his.
And you said
his
5
trial.
to 10.
I said 5 to 10. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do.
I was gonna go with 3, but
I'm gonna do 10 to 20.
10 to 20. Nobody's getting points on this one because this bizarre charge came with a 5 years to life in prison.
holy shit!
Yeah.
How is that?
I was gonna think life, but I was like, no injuries, no one got killed.
I also found it quite weird, but that was the sentence that came down, 5 years to life.
Okay.
So he's going to spend time in a dual vocational facility in Tracy before being sent back to Vacaville, where there's a medical facility where he would undergo psychiatric treatment for extreme depression.
I thought you made that
This
one up
child
just
is-
because you never hear that. 5 to 10, or 5 to life.
5 to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
25 to life.
They caught the judge. They were like, "Yo, hey, judge, how long?" He's like, I don't know, 5 years.
5
They're like,
to life.
exactly 5. He was like, I don't know, 5 to whatever, life. I don't care.
Just pick a number between, like 5 to whatever.
Yeah, 5 to
when he
whatever.
dies.
5 to life.
I'm on vacation after today anyway, so
I'm already clocked out of my head, bro.
I
I'm
got
out.
some senioritis going on, I'll be honest with you.
These edibles kicked in like 3 hours ago.
I don't give a damn.
So,
You realize I wear a dress for a living?
Do you see my fucking Crocs? Look
at my
They're
hammer.
camo. Of course you can't see them.
I'm going to be honest. I wish they'd bring back the powdered wigs. If I were being honest, I wouldn't have to do my hair every day.
I'd like a hefty gavel, please.
So, yes, extreme depression. Spend some time in a Vacaville medical facility. When he would meet his final love, Charlene Williams, he will have 23 arrests under his belt.
I thought you were about to say 23 marriages.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, if he hadn't gone to prison so much, you might be
I
right.
kind of want to see like the tick marks of like how many times he got married and how many times he got arrested. Just calculate it up.
There'd just be a lot.
Yeah.
There'd just be a lot of tick marks.
He's over 4 on marriages now.
4.
I believe it's 4. Yeah, 4.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant method. Just volume
volume
shooting.
shooting.
Eventually, one's gonna stick. Keep throwing it.
So on October 19th, 1956, Charlene Williams is born in Stockton, California. So this is going to be kind of his partner as we go through. We're going to do a short run through of her life.
Going local with these folks.
Yeah.
I like it.
She was the only child of Charles and Mercedes Williams. I have to say it like that. I believe I'm
That's fine.
contractually
Anyone named
obligated.
Mercedes.
Yeah, Mercedes. And she was there absolutely everything compared to Gerald's upbringing. Charlene pretty much lived on Easy Street. She was well off. Her parents loved her very much. Charles was her father. He was a classic success story. He climbed from a supermarket butcher to a supermarket executive. Mercedes was a Mary Kay lady. She didn't really need to work, but just always liked to have something to do. But apparently she kicked fucking ass at it and was like one of those pink car Mary Kay ladies.
Oh hell yeah.
yeah.
That was my like one of my aunts.
Yeah, she balled out.
Mary
The
Jane.
original MLM bad girls. So Charlene grew up shy. Charlene grew up shy and never got in any trouble. She had a very high IQ and has actually moved ahead in school, as well as being placed in gifted classes and having quite a knack for playing the violin. She was destined for great things, and her parents had Juilliard in mind for her. So she's like so badass at violin. They're like,
Yeah.
dude, we're like
Juilliard.
Yeah, Juilliard. Like, and her parents in like interviews and stuff don't seem like the people who were like, oh, our daughter is good enough for Juilliard because she's our daughter. It was like, no, she fucking kicked ass at violin. You should have seen this bitch. And then it had like
She dead now.
her on, yeah, maybe.
Oh, true. We're getting there.
So all of this like bright future, knowing
Right.
she's gonna marry this guy.
Right.
At some point. Yeah,
That's kind of depressing already.
So she's a kick-ass violin player.
It gets so much sadder.
Yeah, trust me. People are going to die.
More people are going to die.
Bring it on.
So she's, again, destined for great things. Her parents have Juilliard in mind. Things started to change, though, when she made it into high school. She went to private schools, I guess, all the way throughout. She begged her parents to go to public high school, and they're like, whatever, like, we're getting the AP classes and everything, but if that's what you want,
Juilliard.
yeah. So she goes to Rio Americano High School, and she had what the book, The Sex Slave Killers, calls during high school a predilection for sex, drugs, and alcohol.
Yeah, but don't we? Yeah, don't we all?
Yeah.
I mean, because that shit's fun. All of it.
So
Yeah,
she
true.
goes from, in 8th grade, they think she's going to Juilliard, to barely graduating high school. One thing that she did continue to have the entire time was 2 like super loving, supporting parents. So, some people are given up on and some people don't, Gerald never had a chance, but breaks the mold a little bit, I suppose, as far as someone you might expect to be involved in some crimes like this. So as soon as she was able to drive, her father bought her a brand new Oldsmobile. It was a land yacht. You got to remember, this is like late 70s, so she had like the Oldsmobile Cutlass.
The Cutlass Supreme.
Cutlass Supreme.
Yeah, baby.
My grandma had one
Baby
of those
gets
things.
9 miles to the gallon. So
This bad boy right here, bam! This can fit so many miles per gallon.
So when she graduated, her dad got her own apartment, made sure it was always full of food, furnished well. He also made sure that when she wanted to expand her wardrobe, she was able to do so, even going as far as to invest a chunk of money in her business venture, $15,000 to be exact. So she had this like strip mall 10 by 12 store that she bought, and it sold knickknacks, macrame, and potted plants.
And this was a 1970.
We're talking like, let's see, she graduated high school in probably 74, 75.
So 15 grand and 75. Like that's like
It's probably like about
30, 40 something like it, yeah.
Greg can probably pull that up. You know, maybe be doing that for us. But I would guess that it's 37. That'd be my guess on it.
that's
But-
a chunk of change too.
Yeah, for sure. But he's a supermarket executive.
Well, the wife named Mercedes. How could you not?
It's crazy to think about that. Like you could make a career out of that back then in the 70s, like being a supermarket manager or
What do you
executive.
do nowadays?
That's why I live in a studio apartment, Grandma.
Right, I was gonna say.
Thanks a lot.
It's 2009. Nowadays, people would be like, "What do you do?" And you're like, "Oh, I fucking sell shit."
I work
like
at
what?
Food
You're
Max.
like actual shit, like just stuff.
I eat a lot of corn.
You know when you clean out your junk drawer?
Oh yeah.
All that.
Oh, that kind of shit. I thought you were
still-
talking about like an actual guy in like Venice Beach just eating a lot of corn and like making.
Logs.
Oh, this one's gonna be Frosty the Snowman.
Call it recobbed corn.
All right, well, Greg looks that up. Okay, remember her store sells knickknacks, macrame, and
Patty
potted
wax.
plants. Question number 7.
Oh, yes.
What was the shop called?
Oh shit.
Was it the pot shop, macrame for this, the ding-a-ling shop, or knick-knack toe?
Knick-knack toe.
You mother.
Sorry.
You can answer the same if you believe it's that. There's no. You guys
Well,
are
yeah,
tied
yeah.
now. You can carry a tie if you like knick-knack toe.
What was the other one?
Pot shop, macrame for this, the ding-a-ling shop, or knick-knack toe.
I want to say macro made for this because that's fucking clever.
Okay.
And I don't want to be on the same page with Sam, so I'm going to
fine.
go with, yeah.
Knick-knack toe, macrame for this?
Yes.
All right. It was the ding-a-ling shop.
Damn.
Which means thank you. I totally made up those other names.
Did you really? Yeah. Dude, that
I should
macro
name
made for this?
businesses.
That's like really smart.
You know how I know you're gay?
What year was that?
You macro made yourself those pair of shorts.
I still get a chuckle out of the Coldplay one. I'll still go back and listen to Coldplay every once in a while
Listen to Coldplay.
if I'm feeling terrible.
$71,587. There was a big uptick in there.
Holy
Yeah.
camoli.
Yeah.
Double what you thought.
You know, so
Okay, yeah, well, belay my last.
well, I mean, I would have been like my guess was 37.
Yeah.
So
377.25% higher.
Jesus.
how about that? So
Ballin'.
They could buy 4-bedroom houses for 15 grand. Fair enough.
so that's double X's. You guys are still at 500 points apiece. Yeah. Ding-a-ling shop.
Dingling shop.
Cool.
My ding-a-ling, my ding-a-ling.
Young man, this act is over.
So, unfortunately, she fairly quickly lost interest in her own business venture that her dad had pumped 15 G's into.
Yeah.
One of his previous wives, Gerald's, again, we're going back to Gerald here. One of his previous wives said that he was the only man that actually made her feel like a woman, even though he wasn't very good looking. Another one of his wives comments that the fact that being in bed with him was like being in bed with a rabid Tasmanian devil. Nice. And not in a good way. That's what she was saying. Like, he would just attack you.
He would just be like, blah, 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 blah.
It's right.
How did he spin
right
so
down there.
fast?
I was going to say, that sounds kind of hot.
Yeah, it comes up looking like a glazed donut.
So,
Is that mine or yours?
It's ours, baby.
I'm sorry, I got a little excited. I just mushed all the juices together, so we're one. We're one and the same, baby.
so it seems like he wore a few different hats. It feels to me like he was testing out personalities. He's like, these are only going to last like a month. I'm just going to fucking, today I'm the nice guy. The next marriage, I'm going to be the beat the shit out of you while we fuck guy.
With the hammer.
And then, yeah, exactly. And that's kind of like all of his wives that come together to like describe him or talk about him, it's all like a very drastically different person they're talking
When you
about.
say they come together to talk about him, it makes it sound like those, like after a reality show when they reunite everybody, like all the cast members from The Bachelor.
Bachelorette.
Yeah, like they're all sitting there just like, he was a good kisser. No, he wasn't. He was like a rabid Tasmanian devil.
He tried to chew on my clitoris. It was really awkward.
He hit me with a hammer.
She lost.
You hit me with a hammer.
My guess is that R. Barry Flowers interviewed them separately, I would hope, but who
I
knows?
wish it was like an Inside the Actors studio panel discussion.
With James
could see
Lipton
it.
just going, tell me,
Absolutely
what was it
fantastic.
like to be with him?
The gyration's making me uncomfortable.
He does so much sitting up in his seat.
Such an honor.
Yes. I know, but that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so yeah, Rabbit Tasmanian Devil, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he's playing the game. He knew that he wasn't going to be in any of these very long. He was going to work his way out of them.
So earlier when you were talking about how he was in the mental institution and he was getting some help or not, but anyway, they were talking about like depression and stuff. Was there anything with borderline or schizophrenia tossed in there yet?
I think that he was always trying to play as stoic as he could. So anything that he was feeling or experiencing or suffering, he was trying to hide as best he can. And the depression was just, I think they just saw he was fucked up. It was like, he's depressed. Take him. We don't even want him in the mainstream. Like, he needs to be at a medical facility.
And it was the 60s. It's not the same. It's not the same depression that we know today. Back then, depression was like an umbrella that
Right.
That
Like
just
hysteria?
kinda encompassed everything. Exactly. It was
He
hysteria
got ghosts
for
in
boys.
the blood. Do cocaine about it.
Exactly.
All right.
Throw some leeches on your eyeballs.
So
Be fine.
December 12th of 1975, his parole officer wrote a letter to the court saying that he should be a free man and poses no threat to society at this time. So, what a mistake that had been made.
Swing. Well, so that was a
Swing and a
fucking
miss.
lie.
Just like watching all the great fuck ups. Like they gave him the kids. Yeah, never mind.
That's how it is every time. And it's another thing too, is just like, these are serious crimes. He got 5 years to life. Like, if he was fucking up in prison, he could have spent a lot more time, but he spends 3.5 years in there. And it's these guys get away with these crimes, and they get away, and they're like, well, next time I'm gonna fucking murder him, then I won't even have to go to jail. What do you think of that? So that's what happens. I mean, you've been here for 98 of 101 episodes. Isn't it always just like, gets away with this, gets away with this, gets away with this, gets away with this, starts raping and murdering
I was
women.
gonna say it's an escalation. It's
Almost always.
It starts with the small ones that give you a thrill, the petty theft and stuff like that, or vandalism,
And then all of a sudden, like, you need a murder to come.
yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, pretty
I mean
much.
that's usually the end result.
Yeah.
In result. So,
I just hit myself with a hammer in the
not quite-
ribs, and that's how I get off.
That's how I masturbate. I'm just not quite there in my journey yet.
so
You're getting there.
in between here sometime, he also gets a fifth wife. August of 97, he's going to divorce that fifth wife, but he would make Charlene his sixth wife before the divorce is actually official, making his marriage to Charlene never actually real. Charlene had also mostly failed in marriage until meeting Gerald. She was married at 19. She met a married man who was like he was on shore leave, and they got married like in a weekend, and then he got shipped out, and his parents had the marriage annulled.
Oh.
So, like, saying, well, she was just some hussy that was hanging out around the ship, and they got married in a weekend.
I'm
She
not
was just
gonna
looking
sleep
for a
with
chick.
you unless we're married.
Yeah.
I'm saving myself. He's like, yeah, let's fucking do it.
So the marriage was annulled, and she fought for a little bit, but ends up losing that battle.
It's not even my real name.
She goes to college, or tries to go to college, and becomes a psychologist major, but quits after just one semester. So she's pretty much got this history of like, oh my God, I'm going for it. Does it for like 3 weeks. Like, it's fucking boring, dude.
There's no mimosa.
Woo!
They keep asking me questions about the brain like I know.
I just want my white claws.
So the two of them, Charlene tried to be a psychologist. The two are going to get married in a very large ceremony for whatever reason. I think this time Gerald was like, yeah,
I'm marrying
this
this
the
one.
one. And guess what I found out? I'm going to use all 5 of those personalities.
This one gonna last 2 months.
Just shuffles them like a card deck.
He's like, all right, who do we got
Who's
today?
this morning?
Who
Yes.
do we got today?
So, okay, so he admitted at the time to being. Oh, I'm sorry. Alex actually moved back. This was she gets married again in a large ceremony. This is before she and Gerald. The 2 of them, her second husband and Gerald, are very toxic towards one another. He admitted to being a drug user and accused her of doing the same. They were divorced after a short period, and when they had a large fight, they were both. So this huge fight breaks out between them. They're kind of toxic towards one another, but they're like smoking a joint, and this huge fucking fight breaks out at a party, and they come to find out that joint had been heavily laced with PCP.
Nice.
So they were just fighting each other with PCP strength.
Throwing refrigerators at each other and shit. Like it's fucking. Well, actually, I don't know if that documentary's taught me anything. They were just like, it's warm.
So the husband would claim that Charlene actually tried to kill herself. Question number 8. By what method did she attempt to take her own life? Was it A, a razor blade, B, downing chemicals, C, pills, or D, self-immolation? Oh, you can just be, flame on, flame off, flame off! Razor blades, drinking or downing chemicals, pills, or self-immolation?
I saw
I'm
this.
gonna go with pills.
I saw the video of the monk that does it, and somebody put like REM over the top of it, like the slow acoustic version of "Sad World." Like,
All right, Sam, what do you think?
I'm going to go with razor blades.
Razor blades and pills?
Pills.
Yeah. All right, nobody's getting any points on this one either. Because what she did was try to down a bottle of Pine Sol. Oh. I can't imagine. How would you get through a bottle? I feel like you drink one gulp, and be like, oh, it's so
Smell it.
fucking bad.
Yeah.
This sucks. Where's the nearest parking garage I can jump off of?
it's thick.
Pine Sol. Yeah, that's some potent shit.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah.
She got sick, but it didn't work.
I gotta keep it down. If I throw it up, it won't work.
So they're going to officially divorce in May of 1977, and that fall she meets Gerald. In September of 78, Gerald is going to change his name. Not legally. He just starts going by a different one, like trying to get it on as many documents as he can.
Sure.
Question number 9.
Oh, shit.
To what did he change his name? Was it Stephen Fail, Timothy Martin, Gerald Tate, or he actually wasn't allowed to change his name? He's trying to work some shit in on some legal grounds. He tried to get his license, the name on his license changed, and he tried to get the name on his registration changed. So was he not allowed? Was it Stephen Feel, Timothy Martin, or Gerald Tate?
Go ahead, Samuel.
What was the first one?
Stephen Fail, Timothy Martin. Keep the first name, but go Gerald Tate. Or nothing's allowed. He wasn't
I
allowed
just
to.
got married. I took her name.
Her last name's
name's
Tate
William,
because
you
it rhymes with taint. I think it's kind of cool. Smash some strange.
I'm going to get Martin. Last name Martin.
Timothy Martin.
Sure.
And I'm gonna go. Didn't allow it.
Didn't allow it.
Yeah, you seemed pretty set on that too. When you heard that, you were just
I
like,
thought
nah.
about it
Because
but
of all the shit, all the different charges and everything, I red flags. So I'm gonna say didn't allow.
He was very sneaky. It was also the late 70s. Stephen Fail was successful in getting his name.
I wanted to go fail, but I figured you made that up.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
did
failed.
too.
Ooh, it was F-E-I-L.
Oh,
Should've
Fail.
asked for a spelling.
F-E-I-L.
should have.
Country of origin, please.
Use the sentence.
Can you use the sentence?
Yes,
Stephen.
Stephen Fail is one of the options of the answers of this question.
His name may have been Stephen Fail.
Okay, so yeah, Stephen Fail successfully gets his name on some legal documents. He starts going by Stephen a lot. Charlene knows him as Gerald still and calls him that. She's like, I'm not fucking calling you Stephen Dick. So on September 11th,
No, I want you to call me Stephen
1978.
Fail.
He's 32 now. He officially begins seeing Charlene, and the two immediately get into some trouble. At a Sacramento shopping mall, Charlene lures 2 young women, Kippy Vaught, who is 16, and Rhonda Scheffler, who is 17, back to Gerald's car with the promise of, quote, sharing some marijuana. Don't we all? It didn't take long for Gerald to take control of the situation by brandishing a firearm at the young women. He would then sexually assault and rape the pair before he knocked them out with a tire iron and shot them dead. Right around the same time, Charlene had an abortion, and Gerald has absolutely no feelings towards it. That was like her thing in the end. It was like he didn't even care. September 27th of 1978, one of his very own children, his daughter Krista, who he had sexually assaulted over those, I think, 9 months that he had her, finally comes forward at the age of 14 and reports him for incest, sodomy, oral copulation, and unlawful intercourse, and claims it had been going on periodically since she was 6 and had, I guess every time he would see her, he would at least attempt something. The accusations apparently and unfortunately never ended with any type of conviction.
Sounds about right.
So before we get even heavier, let's take a break here.
Okay. Cool.
We'll come back. We'll cool this room down. We'll come back with a Hello Greg story.
It is getting really hot.
And come back or we'll kill you.
Yep.
Remember when he saw the devil and the devil was like, remember, lie, cheat, steal, and listen to heavy metal music.
Shut up. Hey everyone, it's Jesse and Greg, and we just wanted to tell you about our other podcast called The Super Simpsons Show, which is also on the Super Network.
Remember when the sushi chef was like, poison, poison, tasty fish.
So Greg and I talk about The Simpsons episodically from start to finish and shed some new light on episodes you haven't seen in years.
You remember when he was like, my real name is Armin Tamzarian.
We can be found wherever you get your podcasts and on Instagram at Super Simpsons Show. That's SUPR.
Remember Carl? My mother told me never to kiss a fool.
So join us in Springfield. It's a hell of a town. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 106. You're here. We don't have to kill you. So let's go to everybody's favorite segment, says the reviews.
Says that one guy.
So Hello Greg has got something for us. He's always got something. He's always got a question too. So the questions are going to be even more off. So I think there's 16 questions total today, guys. So
Oh shit.
Greg,
Are these for points?
Greg's will be. Is it going to be at the top or are you going to wait?
It's right here. It's
right at
out
the
of
top.
gate.
All right, guys. Question number 10. Hello Greg, take it away.
Okay, so you guys, do you guys know what remote viewing is?
Yes.
Astral projection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of my favorite things is to go into like the CIA FOIA documents, the Freedom of Information Act documents, and they've got transcripts from all their remote viewing sessions that they did. And officially, the program ran with the CIA. Officially, it ran from 1982 to like 1984. But this one I have for you is from that Project Grill Flame. So it's going to be one of the closest to the date questions. What date was this? What year?
What year was that?
Yeah, what year is this transcript from? Now, again, officially,
Right.
it ran from 82 to 84.
Right.
But I've had some of these as early as 79. So
you're what the question is, when did they?
What's this document? What's the date on this document?
what's the date on
year
this
of the
transcript?
date.
I'm going to go with 64.
64. It's a bold guess.
Why do
You-
8.
Yeah? I mean, you're going to get the closest to it, but it was 81.
1981.
Yeah.
But that's still a year before the official launch of the program, right?
Yeah, January 7th, 1981. And they don't use anybody's name. Everybody's just numbered. Like, have you guys
Aren't
ever,
we all?
have you guys ever checked these out though?
Hashtags.
I have not.
You
no.
haven't? Okay, so my favorite one I did last season on here, and it's like the one that I started with, but every once in a while I'll bring another one because they're just weird. But in 1984, they astral projected to Mars in the year 1 million BC. And then, went further back once they got there. But the CIA's doing this, and this guy's like, oh yeah, I see. Oh man, I see there's bunkers carved out, and they're like, so go inside. And he's like, oh man, it's like a storage facility. There's nothing but there's beds and stuff, and because they're always asking for raw data, they just want information, and so they use it for all kinds of different stuff. They used it during the Iran hostage crisis to like try and locate dudes. Like they'd show him a picture. They'd be like, okay, this is the guy. Where is he? And he's like
Like some 11 shit?
Seriously,
Yeah,
this is some fucking 11 shit.
That's pretty much what it was based on. What? Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of this and Project MK Ultra that
How have I never heard of this?
I don't know.
Get into those FOIA documents.
Apparently,
dude.
if there's a
What are you
link
doing?
you can send me,
Yeah,
I'd
absolutely.
really appreciate that.
So, here I'll give you some because I mean, unfortunately, these are mostly pretty uneventful.
Oh, okay.
But like because they'll ask, where is the guy? And he's in a kitchen. It looks like a kitchen, and like there's a lot of but like they're numbered. So like the doctor's number 14, and the guy doing the projecting is 19.5 is his number.
Dang, he didn't even get a whole number.
Well, because he was the 5th iteration of 19. The first 4 went nuts.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't know if that's true or not.
What happened
but,
to the other 18?
Well, so they're all numbered and they refer to each other by number, like in here, and so I
Like the Monarch's henchmen?
so the more that like they have this whole like procedure that goes into it, and they have like a pep talk beforehand, and it's like supposed to be like a coach firing up his team. Like he's like, you got this. We're gonna get out there. You're gonna fall asleep like a motherfucker. I'm gonna give you some.
You are going to Mars.
Yeah, you're like seriously. It's supposed to be like that. And after you get them all hyped up like that, you're supposed to let them mellow, and just like let them like meditate or whatever, and bring them all the way down because it's supposed to like help you get all the way down. Is like the rapid swing is supposed to have something to do with it. And then once you get them all the way down and asleep, then you're like, okay, here we go. It's been like 45 minutes. You've had some time to yourself. Here's what we're doing. Remember the picture I showed you earlier? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, okay, where is he? And they'll just like close their eyes and tell you. And you can give them specific dates and shit. So
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's a wild fucking thing.
God.
It's so cool.
Colton did it on an episode.
Yeah. So this is from Project Grill Flame.
I'm sorry, Grill Flame?
Yeah,
They had terrible names for sure.
They give them code names so that you don't know what it's about.
Got it.
It's Operation Stargate, and then under Operation Stargate you have Project Grill Flame.
Operation Stargate's so tight.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff in there. There's like a time machine and shit.
What?
Yeah, man, dude, get in these FOIA documents.
Yeah, seriously, I don't know what else I'm doing with my life.
You could be doing shit like me.
We just become best friends.
Saw Good Housekeeping in the bathroom. I'll be right back.
So this says this remote viewing session for this is a remote viewing session for January 7th, 1981. Mission time is 0900 hours. Then they block out the coordinates. You're not allowed. You don't get that much information.
Yeah, they redacted.
Redacted. So he said, I want you to relax, concentrate, focus on these coordinates. Now go to these coordinates and describe your surroundings. And he said, something round, very round, black, flat on the ground and round. Just a minute. Let me work on it a few minutes. And then he gets like 3 minutes by him, like where nobody's allowed to just say anything. I mean, you can get as much time as you want. There's like, they put little time meters on there.
Yeah.
Like plus 2.5 minutes. Like there's some that'll be like, plus 14 minutes.
And that's them just
Like trying to hone in on whatever it is
what,
there.
like I said, what they
tractor beam.
They ask for raw data. So like he's flat, black, and round. So that's all you get right now.
Yeah.
Because that's all he sees. And what they get what's called mental overlays. So like when the guy was on Mars, he's like, I'm seeing the Washington Monument, but it's an overlay. And they're like, what do you mean? He goes, it's not actually the Washington Monument on Mars, obviously.
Yeah.
But his brain didn't know what it is, so it grabbed something that looks close and put it there.
Okay.
Your brain does that like every day. Like that's
Yeah.
what your peripheral vision is, and like
Right.
like your brain is putting there. It's building it for you.
Yeah.
You don't
It's
actually
just filling.
see
It's
it.
filling in the blanks.
That's why you think you see people you know.
Right. Familiar faces and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Your brain's just filling in the blanks.
Like he looks exactly like Buddy Ryan.
Oh yeah,
football
which I haven't
coach?
met. No, his buddy.
Oh yeah, true. You don't. So how the fuck?
I don't know Buddy Ryan.
Never mind. So
But
how
he's-
would you even-
He's a friend of the podcast that I've never met.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my closest friends, his name's Ryan. You guys look very similar. So anytime, like when you're talking about peripheral, like I automatically saw my friend Ryan.
Yeah.
So
There we go.
yeah,
So yeah, that's what you.
So
get.
he knows.
you get overlays.
Yeah.
So that's what these guys get. So when he's talking about flat, black, round, it's like, could it be a hockey puck? Yes. Could it be a UFO? Possibly. Like
San Jose Sharks. Here we go.
Yeah, there's not enough information. So after 2.5 minutes, he says it's a group of buildings, some kind of organized buildings in this flat circular track type arrangement, like a stadium, slanted sides. It's oval, main highway. There's trucks there and some buses, figures in black, getting a lot of black for some reason, color black. And this is in close proximity to an airport, some warehouses. Most of the buildings are flat warehouses. That's all I'm getting. And the guy who's helping him out said, all right, ask yourself the question, what information this requester desires to know about this target. So they're making him guess the information that he's supposed to be there getting. Like, they're not even just being like, hey, listen, we want to know what he's driving so we know where to find him or anything like that. Because they'll ask specific stuff like that.
Yeah.
They'll ask specific stuff like that. And they're making him figure out why he's even supposed to be there, which seems like a lot of extra work. He said, just a minute.
Got to fill in the gaps, bro, or else it's boring.
He said, just a minute. Getting a couple of things. I had a question of whether...
bread, milk, eggs.
Yeah, what is it? Quart of milk, loaf of bread, stick of butter. Getting a couple of things. I had a question whether something's been containerized, something's been packaged, and have a question of armament. No arms question. What type, how many... that sort of thing. I get a question of who exactly is there. I get it. The packaging isn't complete, and the people there are a paramilitary type people, a mixture of some professional military, many small arms, and very light perimeter type defensive equipment type arms. Get a cleared area that's been force cleared and barricaded, like streets blocked. Checkpoint set up, controlling the city or controlling the entry of people into the area. Like, I keep getting flashes of like a jumbo jet or something. I don't know what it is. It's just flashes. Some kind of paramilitary preparedness for some reason. Get a feeling like this group is establishing some form of control. I keep getting the color black. I don't know why. I'm sure that symbolizes something, but I'm not able to define it. Black hoods, black face mask, something. Not sure. That's all I'm getting. So... you're like turned on, man. Let's do this. What's up?
I think I know where he is.
Where is he?
It's the Olympic hostage.
81?
Yeah. And with was that Munich?
Munich.
Yeah.
Was that the Winter Olympics? Because it's January 7th.
Isn't that in the winter?
Yeah. Where was it? Wasn't in. Was it? No, it wasn't in. Was it in Jerusalem?
No, it was in Germany.
Munich is
No. The movie Munich.
Oh yeah. What about it?
Because there was that hostage situation.
Yeah, that was
with like one of the Olympic teams that was held hostage.
in Munich.
Was it? No.
Yes, it was. My dad was there.
Okay. Well, either way, that's like what I'm thinking he's there for. When when you said jumbo jet and and like the black hoods.
It could be. There was one that I looked up, and the dude was like, it gave a name.
Yeah.
Because it was like a real.
Whoops.
It was a real common name.
So it doesn't tell you any like official like. There's no conclusion on
if
those.
somebody's still alive.
And then don't they give them like 50 years after that or something?
No.
Like,
once they die, that kind of shit falls off. But...
So they don't ever give you like a clear ending on like what.
Oh no, they do. So it'll. I mean, this goes on for like 15, 20 pages.
Right.
That was only like a page and a quarter or something.
Right.
But it goes on for a while, and then at the end, what they do is they ask them to draw it. So like, what did you see? And they ask them to sit down and sketch what they drew. And like, there's been a couple of times where the guys will draw it, and he's like, I don't know what this is. Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, we can't figure it out. And so he'll just keep drawing what he saw, and he's like, I don't know what this shape is. This is just what I saw. And they're like, well, try and make some sense of it. And he's talking about it while he's doing it, and it was look like this, and it was like that, and up here was this color. And then they go, well, wait a second. And they turn it upside down, and they're like, oh shit, that's that building. That's the one. And instead of it having 16 legs across the tops, that's just the posts coming off the top of the building. Mm-hmm. It's not legs aimed down. Like the whole thing's upside down, so they'll rotate the whole thing 180 degrees and be like, there it is.
Oh my gosh.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, I redact my previous statement. It was the Summer Olympics in
was the
Munich,
Summer
West
Olympics.
Germany.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it was
So,
winter or
yeah,
summer.
so
Yeah, but you could probably.
That was like the
I mean,
first thing that came
you
to
can
my
look
head.
that date up. Something around 1981, January 1981, December 1980, and see what kind of military
Hostage,
stuff was going on.
Yeah.
Because if they're talking a paramilitary group, I mean,
It's probably documented.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, paramilitary group, probably not.
Yeah, maybe not.
But yeah, anyway, that's just a little taste of it.
Get a little. They've got a taste, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
man, it was not just the tip. That was the entire
no,
thing.
it really was just the tip. It
Well-
seriously goes forever, and there's literally thousands of them.
That's insane.
I have a question for you guys, and just for the room.
Hit me.
Sure.
With that kind of stuff, do you think that maybe falls into what we call mediums now? Like, especially ones who, quote unquote, help the police and detective work. You know what I mean? Like, is that something
It's
that...
almost the exact same thing as like what police mediums offer. Is like I see them, I'm here, I can see darkness.
Right.
I don't know.
It's cold.
So I think that with mediums, and I mean no offense to anybody who sees the other side or anything like that, but I think those are just opportunists who saw an opportunity.
Yeah.
When they're helping the police department. Yeah, I got paid $500 to walk around and be like, no, this isn't right. This isn't right. There was a struggle, and you open your eyes and shit's knocked everywhere, and like everybody's like,
You knocked it over because your eyes were closed?
right, like that kind of thing. And I'm not saying they're all like that, but
No, I know.
that's. I think they're opportunists, but I think with the astral projection and the CIA seeing that it goes from officially from 81 or 82 to 84, but really that it's in the 70s and who knows.
When it ended?
Yeah, because that
it
kind of
ended.
stuff hasn't been declassified
still
yet.
going on.
Right.
So it could still be going on because it hasn't been declassified yet.
Man, imagine if it's still
But-
going on where they're going right now.
But
There's just someone right here going like, yeah, where do you think they're going?
How do you think I got here, bro?
hold on, watch me fuck with him.
He's pulling an asshole Doctor Strange, just like I'm out.
But I think for them to actually put this kind of effort, they had
Right.
to pay somebody to sit there. They had to have a facility to do this. They had to pay people to sit there and do this. They had to pay people to sit there and record everything. They had to pay somebody to go through and proofread it, transcribe it, redact it, categorize it, put it online for the FOIA. Like for somebody to
End up
believe
in a podcast.
but for somebody to believe in it enough like that to spend had to be hundreds
Right.
of thousands, millions of dollars
Yeah,
over at least half a decade.
Yeah.
There's got to be a little bit of merit to it. There has to be something there that kept them going. Otherwise, that shit would have been like 6 months, and they'd have been like, "This is fucking stupid."
Yeah.
We literally just listened to a guy who's half asleep on a couch.
They're like, yeah, but here's
Fuck
the deal.
him.
That's what my dad does watching Packers
Right,
games.
dude. Don't touch the remote.
They're like, here's the deal, though. We signed a 2-year lease when we got on, so we're here till 84, man. Might as well just keep the project rolling.
Right, and I get it, but for it to just last that long, I feel like that, like what you said, either somebody's there going, "Hey, dude, this is gonna be the easiest thing ever to fucking."
We're going to get paid
Yeah.
job security for the next 4 years.
Yeah, this was easy. These guys are stupid,
Right.
Or that there's something there. There's a
Yeah.
little bit of something there that kept
Possibly.
that kept them moving forward, and that's that little bit of faith that I
little
hold
bit of
on
hope.
to.
Yeah, that's how I am with like spirits and ghosts and like mediums. That's where I brought the question. I love the idea. Yeah, spooky shit. I like the
Slut for spooky
idea
shit.
of it, but I don't know if I believe. Like,
Greg and I,
want
in
to.
our old podcast, came out like, I don't think I believe in ghosts.
Yeah,
so
no.
we got on the like, I think we're there. I need proof.
Right.
Like that's
want
where-
to believe.
Yeah, I
gotta
want to believe.
I know I just talked about faith, but I have very little faith in most things. I need something concrete.
Right. I'm the same.
How do you feel about the UFO footage? All the stuff with the Navy that the Navy officially now confirmed yes. Like, what do you think? I mean, Sam and I have talked about it at one of our episodes three weeks ago.
I mean, okay, so how do I say this on the record?
Yeah.
Fuck Tom DeLonge,
Yeah.
and everything he stands for. Because that whole To the Stars Academy thing, it seems like such a corporate fucking money grab.
Yeah.
And that seems like, so the governments like that are really good with the whole, look over here, and then smack you with this hand because you're looking over here. And they're really good at shit like that because that's what they're supposed to do. You originally with the Roswell crash, they came out, they were like, hey, look, there's this unidentified flying object. We didn't know what it was. Flat out, we don't know what it is. And people were like, whoa, dude, the military can't not know something. That's not okay. And the military was like, yo, you're right. Our bad, weather balloon.
Right.
And that's how that
Dubbed the weather balloon.
yeah, and that's how that whole thing got brought up and covered up and stuff like that. So all that stuff is there, but there's the whole double bluff as well. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, dude, here's our declassification. Here's our stuff, dude. Look at this video. Here's the Navy pilot saying, whoa, did you get that in the hitbox? No, it's auto box. Don't worry. But I have no idea what that thing is. Yeah, fucking me neither. That's wild.
That's all you get.
That's all you get.
Right.
Really? Like, I went on one of the episodes of Hella Conspiracies it's going to post, probably before this comes out. He and I were talking about the Navy pilot that went down in Mojave, who was from Lemoore. And what bothered me is that it took him over 24 hours to find him. And I'm like, okay, so he had to have like a beacon on the plane.
Little black box.
Right.
Right.
Something.
Yeah.
There was likely, I don't know, but there was likely something on him.
I worked on F-18s for 6 years.
So they had
Yes.
something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got, like stuff like that exists. So I'm not saying that they were able to go out there and be like, okay, there he is, grab him. But they had to be able to find him.
Well, also, they're not going to let fucking millions of dollars of pieces of equipment like that fly around without some type of radar on them, especially if it goes down. Maybe did he not send a signal? Did the airplane not send a signal?
So-
and then when it crashed, why couldn't you find it 24 hours?
What that led me to speculate.
Yep.
Speculate is that what he was flying didn't have that technology. What he was flying didn't have a need for that. So
The reference that I used for the layman was when Will Smith gets in and says, "I've got to give me one of these."
and it is because where he was flying, they call it Star Wars Canyon because it's like when he's flying in Star Wars, it's really tight, narrow valleys, and it's like that scene. But they use the Grand Canyon in Men in Black. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Independence Day?
it's
No.
Independence Day.
Same thing.
Whatever.
it is
Yeah,
the same
well,
movie.
some Will Smith alien movie. I don't know.
We both got there.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the end of my freaking report. That's all I got.
My freaking report.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
that was
so
really cool.
yes, thank you, Greg, for the break from the monotony. Normally we just do this.
Right.
Okay, so let's get back to you
Yeah.
know. So September 30th, 1978. Let's get I'll kind of bring you guys back where
Yeah,
we were.
hold on, I'm sorry.
Amateur.
Good shit.
What did you say?
Continue the joke.
You good?
Yep.
Okay, so if you remember before the break, we just came to his daughter, Krista, who was 14, finally had come out and said for like the last 8 years he's been sexually abusing me, and nothing really came of that, unfortunately. So skip to a little forward, September 30th, 1978. He's going to marry Charlene officially, even though the marriage is not legal, like we talked about before. He never officially divorced the last wife. June 24th, 1979, in Reno, the duo picked up Brenda Judd, who was 14, and Sandra Colley, who was 13, at the Washoe County Fair. They were led back to Gerald's vehicle, and after raping them, Gerald killed them with a hammer and a shovel.
There's that fucking hammer again.
On July of 1979, he buys a .357 Magnum, and I believe he bought a .25 as well. And he loses another job. So this is a huge thing about him is like he can't keep jobs either because he's like an angry motherfucker, or same way he loses interest, and that's kind of why he and Charlene are made for one another.
I feel like there's very few people in the world who can walk the line between holding a steady job and also raping and killing people with a hammer.
That's fair. That's fair. I understand that.
That's a fine line.
Well, and there's some people who walk it very fucking well.
Right. Yeah.
But, yeah.
Gerald Gallego. So, let's see. So, 2 weeks later, he starts bringing in a little money. He loses the job, but he got, he bought himself a gun. Question number 11. Yeah. He's making some money. How did he say he was making the money?
To his wife?
Yeah, so this one is for 500 points if you nail it. There is no multiple choice. So this is kind of out there. You got to kind of just get creative. He bought a gun, but, there are obviously some implications with that. I'm not saying how you think he did it with the gun. What does he tell his wife? It's just random, but it's not as crazy as you think.
Was she with him when he's been doing like the rapings and the killings?
She's like watching.
She's there.
She's bringing them. She's like luring them
No,
in.
okay. So
yeah.
she's with it.
Yeah, there's some. We'll talk about some more later, but yeah.
So the excuse he was telling his wife how he got the money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, prize hunting.
Okay.
Prize hunting.
All right. He's got the gun. He's out hunting.
So she knows that he has a gun,
Yeah.
and she thinks that.
He's bringing in money somehow.
And what does he tell her?
He's a lying dick.
Maybe he is now. Fuck, this is probably going to sound stupid, but everything about this has been stupid. I'm going to say he told her he's doing some type of law enforcement or some shit.
Like, I'm a private detective now.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I should have probably wrote answers for this now that I'm here. I should have given you guys some multiple choices. But he said that he had now become a professional gambler. Oh, yeah. It was a dumb question. That's really what happened here, guys. So
That's
That makes sense, though.
That's some Walter White status right there.
yeah. So he's just bringing, and he wasn't being ridiculous. He wasn't bringing in a ton of money,
Right.
But
That makes sense.
he wasn't getting arrested or anything at this time. So we don't know how he was bringing in the money.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably not gambling unless he was like the game. He's like, I'm gambling for sure. I can go to jail if I get caught doing this.
That's
I
a gamble.
think there was just increasingly large number of people who were like, I don't want to gamble with you anymore because every time you're losing, you pull out a gun
Or a hammer.
and you just take stuff.
If you want this money, you're gonna have to shoot me.
Okay, hold on. Oh wait, I bet it and lost it. Damn it.
So he takes the gun with him everywhere he goes. Charlene wonders where the money comes from. Obviously, we can speculate, but there's no arrests, no robberies, no thefts that he can be attached to. So nothing definitive. He's a pro gambler. That's what we got to say.
All right.
December 21st, 1979. While bartending, he has many affairs and starts a relationship with Evelyn Smith, a woman which will flame on and off, but nothing really comes of it other than him just, having a side woman. April 24th, 1980, in Sacramento again, Charlene leads and meets two young women once again to Gerald's van. Before the attack, he rapes and kills Stacey Ann Redican, who is 17, and Karen Twiggs, who is also 17. Their death was by bludgeoning, and they would be found bludgeoned to death on the riverbanks. Yeah.
So why is he cheating? Because do you really think you're gonna find another woman who's gonna help you murder people?
Yeah.
No, I think he thinks I need more.
Oh.
I know Charlotte's not going to find out about, or Charlene's not going to find out about this, so I'll just also have sex with Evelyn as well as rape and kill these girls that Charlene's going to help me with too. I think that's just what it is. It's escalation. It's just
Yeah.
you okay, yeah, now I got this and this, but
What's next?
Don't you think I could also get this too while I'm doing the killing and having sex with my wife?
Right.
I can have sex with the chick I work with too, and
There could always be more.
yeah. So, in June 7th, 1980, the pair picks up what they call a pregnant hippie walking down the road in Southern Oregon. Nice. Linda Aguilar is 21. Her friends and family know her as what they call her the most loving and outgoing person they knew. Her boyfriend would spend long days offshore as a commercial fisherman. And they only had one car, so he used it to go to work. So whenever she'd get around, she would take the bus or hitchhike or whatever. 1980 Southern Oregon, apparently not a very unsafe place to be. So Linda was pregnant. The future child was like everything to her. And in the documentary, they talk about yes, a lot of women, it is a huge thing for them. But she was 100% her life when she found out was pregnant. She was all about the kid. So she was very... She's very wary. She's very health conscious. That's why she was apparently some people think she wasn't even hitchhiking, that they just picked her up. She wouldn't have been hitchhiking. She was just walking because it was only 3 miles where she needed to go.
She
whatever the
wouldn't
case
put
may be.
Baby
the
at
baby
danger
into
like that.
danger.
Yeah,
exactly.
She loved it so much.
So since she didn't have a vehicle, she decided she would walk, or some people say hitchhike, from Port Orford. She took the bus part way. The entire trip is 28 miles. So that's why some people are saying, like, oh, she was going to walk miles between buses. We're like, dude, she got tired and she hitchhiked. So
She should have Ubered.
yeah. Damn you, 1980!
Stupid 1980 being all not now.
It's a 28-mile round trip. So it can't be, you can't think she probably set out to do that completely walking. But like she said, they take buses. She was going to walk between some. Or, again, maybe she just get tired and was like, all right, I'll find somebody trustworthy. But that's the problem with a serial killer that has, like, a small wife with him, is that's a very unsuspecting pair. Yeah. So Linda did make it to the doctor. So she did make it to Gold Beach. When she returned... she made it there, and then after that, she's never seen. When her boyfriend returned home, she was very concerned, obviously expecting her to be there. So he starts to call around to family and friends in the area. And a few hours later, when all of them had said no and she still hadn't returned, he calls the police. Eventually, the police go through all the usual channels, but she's an adult, so it's kind of that thing, like, adults are allowed to just leave.
Right.
Like, yes, we'll be on the lookout, but, that can happen. So they first go about attempting to clear her boyfriend. Like, obviously he's going to be the prime suspect. So they set out on him, but they're also looking in other ways. And another man, they go out to the community and say, like, look, we're looking for any information. Anybody's got anything. And some guy comes forward and says, hey, I've got what I think is something I saw, what I believe is this woman walking down the road, and she's talking to people in this van. It's always a van.
Always.
By the river.
So the guy who came forward believed that she was picked up by this van, but he couldn't remember anything else about the van, like the color, the license plate, really anything. He said that he believed that the van was brown or gold. 2 weeks later, a German couple who was vacationing and was out with their dog on a morning walk, their dog started acting crazy and running into some bushes and not replying to its owner. So the owner followed into the bushes, and the man discovered what appeared to be a partially buried human body in the sand just beyond some plant life. As the police uncovered the body, they discovered that her hands and legs had been tied in a nylon rope. When the body was fully excavated, they were able to identify the woman as Linda Aguilar. She had multiple brutal head wounds and sand in her lungs, which suggests that she was still alive when she was put in the hole.
Damn. Shitty.
Yeah. So he bludgeoned her and assumed that he had killed her, but more than likely didn't.
She died from suffocation in the hole.
That's terrible.
Shallow grave. Yeah.
Like, wasn't even fully buried. Or maybe she was and came exposed a little bit, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like you're at the beach, you go up towards the top, there's like some of the, maybe shrubs that have grown over it. It was like in that, buried her in some sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, they believed that the rope was a fishing rope, which led them back to her boyfriend, who is a commercial fisherman. But after multiple searches of his boat and work, or his boat at work and his home, they could match no ropes on the boat or anything that he had even close to the ropes that Linda had been tied up with. Additionally,
That poor fucking guy, dude.
know.
Yeah, that sucks.
And but the thing is that his alibi worked out from the beginning, but they were just like, nah, this is too big a coincidence.
I get it, and
I get that
I
too.
get that they got to do their job and shit,
Yeah.
but that poor fucking bastard, dude,
Right.
who just lost everything, and
Still going through that.
exactly, and then you just got to get drugged through the mud, and it doesn't matter because everybody who reads it in the paper is going to be like, boyfriend did it,
Yep.
husband did it,
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the man, they bring in the man who initially says like, oh, I think I saw something, and they put him under hypnosis because they're like, let's see if we can get more from it. And the only thing that he can bring is that he believed that the man was of a darker complexion but not black, and there was a smaller figure in the vehicle with him, but he could recover no license plate information. So I think Gerald knew that he should get moving along out of Oregon because he saw like the announcements, hey, we're looking for someone, anybody that knows anything. So they headed back down to Sacramento, which at that time was having like a weird crime spree before he got there. And he kind of knew about what was happening and was like, well, perfect time to head back. Like, I'll just go join the fucking party. So
Sign me up.
Yeah, July 16th of 1980, a 34-year-old woman named Virginia Mokel was abducted. She worked at a small bar in West Sacramento, and she was beloved there. Her sister-in-law, Monica Welch, and bar patron said that there was no one that came into Virginia's life that didn't love her. Virginia spent all of her free time with her kids when she wasn't working. And Monica said that pretty much like her kids were her life and her job was the hobby. Her son Michael remembers nothing but having a great mom, claiming that she even spoiled him whenever she could. As with any night, the bar was full of regulars and a few new faces. Normally, a few would stick around and make sure that she got out to her car safely after closing. But after doing this hundreds of times, for whatever reason, on this night, she told all of her regulars to just head home, that she'd be fine. She locked up when went to her car, and people believe that someone came to her window. Monica, her sister-in-law, was worried when she didn't come home. Monica's babysitting her kids, and they start making calls around to find her. They find the car in the parking lot of the bar the next morning. Police are called in, and missing person report was filed. Police start at the bar and try to narrow down some of the non-regulars that may have been in the bar that night. As the days went by, she didn't return home, and her children became very confused and wanted their mother. So that's like a huge thing about it, is they were like, what do we tell her? Or like, what do we do? Do we say she's missing? Like, her kids
She didn't want
understand.
you no more.
Yeah, oh my God. So it was a heartbreaking scene. October 2nd, 1980, on the Sacramento River, some fishermen found the body of Virginia Mokel under some bushes near the banks. Her hands were bound with fishing line instead of rope this time. The sheriffs had to let the family know that they had made a positive ID on her body. On September of 1980, Gerald separates from Charlene, and she moves back in with her parents. However, she would return to him just a few months later. Like, she was almost free. November 1st, 1980, she's pretty shitty at this point anyway, though. November 1st, 1980, Craig Miller and Mary Beth Sowers, who are engaged to be married. They're 21 years old. They're students at Sac State. There's a frat brother and a sorority sister. They have like some group event at a restaurant. They're there until like 1 a.m. They're super like ambitious people, and they said like all the people in the interview were like, they were the only two people who could have handled one another. Like, they were both like so shooting for the stars that like they were perfect one another. They're at this party. They come out about 1 a.m. As they're approaching their vehicle, another vehicle pulls up and forces them in at gunpoint. And behind them, like, one of his frat brothers like sees it happening and like kind of runs up to the car, and there's a woman driving, and she like points a gun at him and says like, get the fuck out of here. Like, this doesn't
Keep on moving.
Yeah, like, this doesn't involve you,
along.
man.
Keep it going, sister.
So
don't concern you.
unbeknownst to the couple and the criminal, Craig's frat brother, blah, blah, blah. He did get a good look at the occupants in the car and is immediately reported to the police, and they began to get as much information from his friend Andy as they can. Andy, being a dope-ass motherfucker, remembers the license plate number.
Andy.
Police go back to the parking lot to investigate again and find Mary Beth's keys and her car nearby. They run the license plate number, and it come back to a woman named Charlene Williams. And we know that Charlene is like not tied to any type of criminal life. Her father is, very well-off man.
Right.
Charlene gets interviewed. She tells police, like, my car was here all night last night. I was with my boyfriend in his car, but like, I don't know what you're talking about. And police pretty much take her at her word. But they do notice on the way out that her car fits the description pretty closely, even down to the seat covers that Adam had described.
Wow.
Yeah.
Adam.
Go
Fucking
Adam.
So she claims
Adam's
she was
the hero that people need.
Right.
Seriously.
So they take the license plate number of her boyfriend's car, who is also sitting in front of the house, just in case. The next day, a man and his son are out on a walk and come across the body of Craig Miller, who had been shot 3 times in the head and neck by a .25 caliber weapon. Police are now continuing a frantic search for Mary Beth Sowers while only hoping that she is still alive. As they searched the area in which Craig was found, they found 3 .25 caliber shell casings that matched the ones that had been shot by. So they matched the bullets that are in Craig.
Okay.
They decided that they wanted to go and have a word with Charlene one more time to see if they couldn't get things cleared up. But upon their return, they have a second chat with her, or they try to have a second chat with her. She is nowhere to be found. They run the plates on her boyfriend's car at this time and see that they're registered to a man named Stephen Fail, And that man is a person of interest in the Virginia Mokel case and is one of the non-regulars in the bar that was accompanied by Charlene that night. Charlene's parents, sensing that something was amiss, told police that her daughter's boyfriend wasn't actually named Stephen Fail, that it was a pseudonym, and his real name was Gerald Gallego. Gerald
Can't trust anyone.
So then you look up Gerald Gallego and you see a really big history of crime. We're talking like 23 arrests before he even met her.
Right.
They see the charges of robbery, accusations of rape, child abuse, assault. Her parents said that they knew that Gerald was an ass, but they didn't know he was like that much of a motherfucker. And they believe that Charlene at this time is just probably like under his, like she's in there. Her life is in just as much a danger as any of his victims. She wouldn't do any of this like willingly.
Of course not.
Right.
Julia.
So they explained that she had been mostly living with Gerald over the last few months, and they had also owned and recently sold a van matching the description of the one used in the in the Oregon kidnapping. The police are asking for the public's help as it seems the two are on the run and could be taken anywhere. So we're almost done here, but let's take one more quick break.
Okay.
We'll do a little fiver on this, come back. Let's finish out this fucking story. We're headed east and bound. They're on the road now, so
Fuck yeah.
it's going to be a chase, and maybe some more people will die. I'm not sure. So come back one more time. We won't kill you this time. You've been here long enough.
Or we'll astral project to you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Bree.
And together we are Death & Co. Podcast.
Lindsay, what's keeping you alive this week?
Probably the warm sunshine that kisses me awake each morning. It makes me feel like Snow White. What about you, Bree?
I think my psychiatrist telling me that it's not just me and people really are made up of garbage.
Check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Death & Co. Podcast.
And download and subscribe today on your favorite podcast platforms. Bye.
Welcome back, everybody. Episode 106. We're home stretch. Here we go. Woohoo! November 3rd, 1980, Southern Oregon Police. The Southern Oregon police officers began to work with Sacramento officers to attempt to put together all the puzzle pieces when it came to Linda Aguilar, Virginia Mokel, Craig Miller, and Mary Beth Sowers, who had still yet to been found. They knew they had a great set of suspects, but nothing definitive. Police are seriously disturbed that they may be dealing with a serial killer couple. Charlene's parents, again, also shocked that she could be involved with something like this and assumed that anything that had happened to Charlene had been forced. Police knew that eventually Charlene would call her mother for money because that's where all her money came from. She agreed to go ahead and let the police tap her line, and they were indeed correct. 2 days later... I'm cool, dude. Don't worry.
I was like, is this for me?
Yeah.
2 days later, if you're going to spew into this. 2 days later, Charlene calls, not with a specific location, but to say that they had left for Nevada. They are now technically federal fugitives after crossing state lines, and the FBI has now become involved.
Dumbasses just doubled down all their worries.
Yeah. And just 2 days later, they locate Charlene's car abandoned in a parking lot in question number 12. What Nevada town? Is it A, Carson City, B, Las Vegas,
Nice.
Las Vegas, Reno, or Laughlin? Carson City, Las Vegas, Reno, or Laughlin, Nevada?
Where they coming? They're coming from Sacramento.
Sac town.
Reno. I say Reno.
Laughlin. Final answer.
It gets hot in Laughlin. All right. They find the vehicle in a parking lot in Reno, Nevada.
250.
That is 250.
Okay.
And Sam takes a 1,000 to 500 lead.
I had a question.
Yes.
Greg's question when we were doing Hella Greg.
Yes.
And I got the question right. How many points was that worth? We didn't specify.
Also 250.
Oh,
Basic 250s.
So how short am I now?
500.
500 to 1,000.
Okay, cool.
I mean, if you got plenty of time.
Okay. Right
4
on.
questions left.
Yeah, so I got to get all of them right.
Also, a good fake answer for that question would have been Tahoe. Oh. See? Like, that. You guys would have chose Tahoe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
While a forensic team stays behind to check the vehicle for any clues, another team tracks the couple north towards Utah. Their tracks ran cold once they reached Salt Lake. There we go. It's out. now.
I'm not gonna reach for that one.
On November 6th, that's why I turned the other way for it. I didn't want you to have that one. On November 16th, 1980, the police catch their break when Gerald and Charlene are fugitives and didn't know where to go or what to do, so they once more called Charlene's mom. They're very paranoid at this point, but Charlene knows that she can trust her mom. Right, Greg?
Yes.
She tells her mom that they've traveled from Utah to Omaha, Nebraska. Her mother asked her to turn herself in, and when Charlene refused, her mom agreed to wire her some money to help hold her over, but begged her to please reconsider. Her mother truly felt that Charlene had done no wrong and that she was likely the one in danger, so called the police and told them of her plan and where she was to wire money in Nebraska.
Snitches, man.
Here we go again.
So November 17th, 1980, plainclothes FBI agents set up inside the Omaha Western Union and waited for their marks to arrive. Less than 1 hour later, the agents spot the marks, and Gerald, being ever paranoid, waited like 3 buildings down the street, and Charlene goes inside. She is arrested as she approaches the counter, and about at the same time, Gerald is surrounded by 4 men who have drawn their weapons on him. He is arrested with no scene, and there's pretty much like a sigh of relief that goes over the Sacramento area because they've been like wreaking havoc there for the last 2 years, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, 2 days following the arrest, 2 hunters northeast of Sacramento stumble across the body of a young woman who was bound and tossed into a ditch. She was identified as Craig Miller's girlfriend, Mary Beth Sowers. Mm-hmm. She had been shot 3 times to the head and neck, and they recovered 3 .25 caliber cartridges near her body as well. Police go to work attempting to tie the 2 murders together. Police go to work attempting to tie the 2 to the murders they believe they are guilty of. Really, all they have are 2 eyewitness accounts placing them at scenes of abductions, and the crime lab is going to have to dig in. So they've got circumstantial evidence. It's really great circumstantial evidence, but that's not enough. So the crime lab goes to work.
Still a shadow of a doubt.
But remember, it's 1980.
Yeah, but there's still a shadow of a doubt. Right, a good lawyer could argue it.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, and now we've got to take it into the lab, but it's 1980. So there's not a lot. But forensics expert Terry Johnson was heading things up, and he was like one of the leading forensic investigators at the time. He began to do ballistic tests on the .25 caliber bullets and matched the bullets from the Miller and Sauer murders, found that they matched, and then he matched them all to the shell casings that were found. But they had no weapon to match it against. They did find unused .25 caliber rounds in the home of Gerald during one of the searches. And a woman who used to work with Gerald remembers him brandishing what she believes was a .25 caliber pistol at work one day at a bar where he was a tender. There was apparently a regular...
Do you like that one? Is that... Okay.
There was apparently a regular who had passed out at the bar, and because Gerald's such a fucking dick, he pulled the .25 out and from his waistband and shot it into the ceiling several times, startling not only the sleeping man, but everybody inside the bar.
Well, and have you seen a .25 caliber pistol?
Probably.
They're little guys.
Oh, this is the gun I used to use when I was a prostitute.
Yeah, I knew a guy who had it was a Beretta Minx, and it shot 22s or 25s.
Beautiful.
And the whole thing was like this big. It was amazing. It was the greatest the little barrel kicked up and...
There you go.
There you go. Beretta Minx.
Boom.
No, just a little guy. So that's small.
Yeah, so that's what that guy put into the ceiling. That thing, when you can go and cover up the fire of that thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, he did it 4 times, put 4 in the ceiling to wake the guy up, but she remembered this specifically. So, she brings the police, and they go up into the ceiling. You could still see where the damage was caused. It was never fixed. And they pull 4 slugs from the ceiling, which were embedded. They were able to use those bullets to compare it to the murder ones and find that they are fired by an exact weapon. So they're matched to the gun that Gerald Gallego owns.
Yeah. So you hear that, people who own stuff, if it gets shot, leave the bullets in there. That way when the cops come back later looking for evidence, you got it.
There you go.
So they also noticed on Gerald's box of unspent .25 caliber rounds at his home, they had a manufacturer's defect in the stamp. So on the .25, the decimal and like a bottom corner of the 2 wasn't stamped on those. The exact same defect was found on the shells found at the murder scene.
Jeez.
So what they do is they go to the manufacturer of
Was Bruce Wayne on this case?
Right. They go to the manufacturer of the rounds And they say that they totally know when those went out, how they went out, and that only 1,200 of those rounds went out. This certain manufacturer of bullets sold something like 1.5 million bullets a month or whatever, and they were like, yeah, 1,200 of these went out. So there's your statistic to bring it down if you need to take that to court.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think really at this point, the cops know they still just have a ton of circumstantial evidence, but it's a ton enough to bring it in on two people they've separated and been like, look what we have on you. Like, what do you have to say on this? So Charlene says, okay, look, I was there when a couple of these happened, but Gerald's always the one that pulled the trigger. Gerald's story is obviously the complete opposite, but what's funny is apparently Gerald turned on Charlene at what the police call, quote, an alarming rate. The serial killer duo just flipped on one another, but Gerald did it in a matter of minutes. Charlene went like 8 hours before she was like, fuck, all right, listen, this is how it went down. Gerald was like, oh, it was that bitch. Like, that's what happened. Trust me.
I'm glad you're here. I was writing a statement, and I wanted to get your opinion. How many L's in guilty?
Oh, Beretta, he did that shit.
So
I like the fact that they came in. They were like, listen, even if you don't wind up going to jail for any of this shit, this guy is just not a good guy. Yeah. He turned on you so fast. And she's over there going, nuh-uh. Mm-hmm. You're just trying to get me to flip. That poor thing argued that for probably how long?
Who knows?
Hours. Yeah.
8 hours. I think it was like 8 hours. Yeah. So Charlene decided at this point she wanted to clear the air and show that it was indeed Gerald and not she that was responsible for the murder of merely every other victim being forced to take place. She was just another victim. That's her whole contention here. Charlene knew that she could face the death penalty if she decided not to go this way. So she offered her full testimony against Gerald in return for her promise of no death penalty and some leniency if it should get there. Charlene begins to share that after only a few weeks, Gerald began to tell her about his fantasy of having a collection of sex slaves. Charlene wasn't exactly sure how to respond, but continued to see him because she really liked him. He's known as very charming. Eventually, they would buy this van together that they had a bed in the back.
Now that's a commitment.
They would begin to stalk women. One of the women was Linda Aguilar, who got the ride, and she never got out of the vehicle. I was gonna say alive, but we believe she did. And Charlene mentions that like Gerald thought we killed her when we bludgeoned her, and she said when we threw her in the hole, I heard her like she was still alive, but that wasn't like evidence that had been released to the public. So she was able to give something like, I was there, that woman was alive, she went in the hole, and they were like, shit, we did find sand in the lungs of that woman. Right. Like it's all coming together now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of these,
and like I'm still hung up on the fact that it like just so fast into it. He was like, yeah, whoa, all right, yeah, wasn't me.
Yep,
none of this was me. It was all her. She's nuts. She's one of those rich kid psycho killers. That's what she is. And she's over there. She's like, look, I know I fucked up, but I didn't do it.
Right.
And I feel like they could probably be like, the police should be able to suss that out.
We'll see. So she also shares that that Linda was not their first victim. Gerald uses Charlene to gain access to other women with whom he wanted to attack, like September 78 attacks in Sacramento. After hearing this long confession, they reach out to the officers from Oregon, letting them know that they had a lot of damning information about their victim, Linda Aguilar. Charlene was able to say that she believed Linda was still alive. So, November 1982, Gerald is tried in California for the first-degree murders of Craig Miller and Mary Beth Sowers. There was a statewide and small national media sensation over the entire course of the trial. Defense had ballistic evidence and a star witness in Charlene. Question number 13. Mm-hmm. Gerald makes a surprise move. What is it? Is it A, he pleads guilty? B, he fires his attorney? C, he attempts suicide? Or D, he commits suicide? Pleads guilty, fires his attorney, attempts suicide, commits suicide.
Wasn't that The Simpsons where he's like, Your Honor, I plead guilty. And his lawyer's all, oh, I'm sorry, not guilty.
It's been a while, Your Honor.
That was a mistake.
All right, what do you guys think?
I think commit suicide.
Commit suicide ends it all.
You said guilty.
Pleads guilty, fires his attorney, attempts suicide, commits suicide.
I'm going to say pleads guilty.
Pleads guilty. Okay. In a surprise move, Gallego dismissed his attorneys and decided instead to represent himself. Damn it.
Always such a good idea.
Yep.
Such a it is. I mean, historically has worked for everybody who's tried it.
Yep. Ted Bundy held it down there too. Mm-hmm. So I think something like this was not necessarily shocking for people who knew him as the narcissist piece of shit he was, but he kept his calm in the courtroom, and he thought that he could win the jury by being his charming self and playing up the role that Charlene took in this, and just trying to show how she's not the victim that she is playing, and he gets to cross-examine her. Charlene and her facts hold up well enough in court to convince the jury, it would seem. May of 1983, it took the jury only 3 hours and 40 minutes to find Gallego guilty of first-degree murder and kidnapping, sentenced to death by gas chamber at San Quentin. The prosecution knew that in California, the death penalty could be commuted, so they got to work on the Nevada case as soon as possible, and on June 8th, 1984, another trial is held for the first-degree murders of Karen Twiggs and Stacy Redican, the two girls picked up at the county fair in Reno. The trial is boilerplate. Charlene testifies yet again, and it takes less than 4 hours for a jury to find him guilty of murder and aggravated kidnapping in the case of Karen Twiggs and Stacy Redican. He's subsequently sentenced to death in this case as well, making him one of few people to ever be sentenced to death simultaneously in 2 states. As a part of her plea bargain, Charlene gets a deal that angered the public to its core. She pled guilty to all charges and, as part of the plea bargain, was sentenced to question number 14. How many years in prison?
So people were pissed off about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they think maybe not long enough, I suppose.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm picking up.
Or possibly too long.
And not the death penalty. Because it could be 20 years and not the death penalty, and I can still see some people getting mad about that.
So I'll tell you that it was more than 1 year, so we can give your answer in years.
Okay.
Years.
Years, your answers. If you nail this, you take a lead.
I saw what you did there.
Yeah. That's what's happening here. So, good luck, boys.
I say 4 years.
Total, that's you think 4 years total, that's how long she spent?
Well, that's what she was sentenced to.
Oh, okay. 4 years.
Yeah. 4.5, Bob.
What was that 5 to life again?
5 to life. Yeah.
I'm gonna say 5 to 10.
Give me it was this many years.
Oh,
she didn't even get a range.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let's just go with 5.
So you said
4.
4. You said 5. Nobody's got 1,000, but David's going to get 250 because she was sentenced to 16 years.
Oh, shit. Yeah, a lot longer than I thought.
So 750 to 1,000 is still
not long enough.
Right.
So I wouldn't be that mad about 16 years.
We got time. You get 16-year sentence. Yeah, so she is present at every murder that Gallego has committed.
Oh, okay. It was probably just a few weeks ago I heard about this case.
Really?
Yeah, and they were talking about her getting released soon.
Yeah, I think she has.
Or had just recently been.
Yeah. So in 1997, the death sentence for Nevada was overturned, and there was a court-ordered retrial in the penalty phase. In 1999, he's now 52 years old, and in a competency hearing to ensure that he was capable of facing a retrial, Dr. David Foster, a psychiatrist working for the defense, testified that Gallego had post-traumatic stress disorder from an abusive upbringing and was suffering from brain damage that occurred when he was young. Question number 15, second to last, I think. Yes, second to last. In what year did Gerald Gallego die? Now, you can stab at this, but I also have 6 multiple choice options.
Okay.
So I was going to say, well, you're not, it's, what do you got here? 1,000 to 750. You're down by one question, so
right.
You don't have to stab.
Yeah.
But you can. It'll put you in a very advantageous position if you happen to get it. So you guys want multiple choice? Anybody can stab?
What year did he die?
Yeah.
No, that's what we're asking you.
Yeah. Don't say it out loud if you are going to stab. Write it down. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, it was. Oh,
yo.
And could you tell me what year was like the final, or when they made all the
trial?
Yeah.
So the last thing we talked about as competency hearing was in 1999.
Okay, thank you.
Who was president when he?
Ixnay. You're going to take a stab?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if he's going to take a stab, I'm going to take a stab.
Okay. Let's see what we got. You guys are such good friends because you both guessed 2003.
Hey, that was cute.
So I'll let you choose whether you want to both get 250 points or you want 0 points because you got the same answer. So you guys want the points or no points? I'll let you decide amongst yourselves.
So either we both get 250,
or you both get 0 because it was the same.
and it's going to make the score no different. So.
Exactly.
You'll both just have 250 points more.
Yeah.
Want to put the points on the board?
Yeah,
Sure.
I'd like to feel a little more confident in myself.
Yeah. And,
so seeing
and
higher
Dave,
numbers
that takes
probably,
you to 1,000 too. So you broke the 1,000.
Now I feel better about myself.
Sam's
Thank you.
at 1,250. There's going to be one more question
Was that
left.
the right answer?
It wasn't. He died July 18th, 2002
Oh, wow.
of bone cancer in Eli State Prison, Nevada.
Ouch.
Charlene was quietly released from prison, and so far as I know, she is still free and living in the Sacramento area today.
Damn.
They did local news did an article and like a talk with her in 2013. So it's like a Sacramento local NBC affiliate did like a sit down with her.
60
wow.
minutes.
So that story is over, but I
Okay.
found this one, and I sometimes I'll bring my own little side story. So this is the final question. It's going to be a totally random guess, but if you can get it right, you'll tie it. Greg will have to come up with the tiebreaker challenge at that point. I've got clay, I've got Legos, we've got drawing supplies.
I'm in
if it
studio
happens
for
that way.
one. It's about
I know.
fucking time.
Well, it's not official yet. Dave's got to get it right.
Right. Hey, get this
Sam's
right
gotta
and
get
get
it
it
wrong.
wrong. Like,
Let me get
So-
this right so we can do with the whole clay thing
Okay.
and Legos. That sounds fun.
Okay, so question number 16, my side story. What is this story about? Is it A, a father killing his children, B, a wife killing her husband, C, a murderer found because of lost photos, or D, a killer turns himself in after years?
I say C.
Sam says C.
Yeah, I figured you were going with that one. I'm going to go D.
D, killer turns himself in after years. Sam stretches out his lead and takes a victory today in episode 106. I'll get you a better victory lap at the end.
Cool.
Let me get through the story real quick.
Yeah.
This is titled, An SD Card Found on an Alaska Street Shows a Woman's Murder. Now a Man is Arrested. Ben Kesslin, NBC News. So I'm reading this. These are not my words. This is Ben Kesslin's article.
thanks, Ben.
Yeah. Good job, Ben.
Shouts out to Ben.
Yeah, shout out.
Ben's out there doing it.
Killing it.
All right,
Yeah,
Ben, here we go.
grinding.
An Alaska no, I'm just kidding. An Alaska resident found a stray SD card lying on the street in late September. It don't hurt too bad, and discovered gruesome content inside: images and video of a woman appearing to be assaulted and murdered. This week, Brian Smith, who's 48, was charged with first-degree murder in the case. The Anchorage Police Department said in a Wednesday statement, the memory card, which was labeled Homicide Midtown Marriott, was given... What a fucking idiot.
Wow.
Was given to police by the woman who found it. Charging documents obtained by NBC affiliate KTUU in Anchorage showed it had 39 images and 12 videos that recorded the alleged crime. The graphic videos show a woman being strangled and a man's voice saying, "Just die." The Associated Press reported. Police were able to identify Smith, a native of South Africa, from the video after recognizing him from a separate unspecified investigation, in part because of his accent. After human remains were found along a highway just south of Anchorage 2 days after the memory card were found, police were able to start putting pieces together. Cell phone records trace Smith to have having been in the place where the remains were found within minutes of when the last photo on the SD card was taken. Police documents outline. Anchorage police think that human remains belong to the woman seen on the memory card, and the medical examiner is working to confirm the connection and the cause of death. Police did not say why the SD card was in the street, but they believe Smith recorded the images of himself. Smith remained in jail on Wednesday, where he is being held on an outstanding warrant, and police say they will release the name of the deceased woman once her identity has been confirmed and the family is notified. So it's short, but
That's a story.
Damn.
Dude, imagine being the guy who found that SD card.
Right.
there's a woman and I think she looked.
Well, I mean,
Well, of course. Yeah, you look.
It said homicide at Midtown Marriott.
Right,
She's like,
yeah.
is this like a B movie or?
yeah.
Is this an
fact
art
that it
school
was-
project?
So, the fact that it's recorded like that, like,
12 videos.
it makes me wonder, was it somebody recording their own?
It was
Or,
probably
was,
on like a tripod
Well, that's
or
what
something.
they.
or do you think it was like a snuff film or something like that? And like
guess I'd have
somebody
8 millimeter.
who wanted the snuff film.
I'd have to
is
see the
like-
footage.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, to see if the no, you're right, because if
Yeah.
there's like lighting and stuff like that,
Right.
then it's clearly for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
Right.
Versus if it's just like a handy cam handheld.
Like a POV, like how Dennis films all of his porn.
Yeah, bottom up.
Bottom
I really
up.
hate that angle.
Yeah.
That's a good.
All right. So anyway,
That's all I think.
that's
every
that
time.
final story. Let's give another congratulations to Sam on his
thank you.
victory today. Take a victory lap, Sam. Anything you want to share with the world?
It's great to be alive.
Yeah. Any personal projects? Any Instagram? Anything like that you want to send people towards?
Well, I just wanted to say fuck Dave.
Okay.
You know,
Fair.
I'm just
As the
kidding,
winner,
Dave.
you get to do that.
I'm just kidding.
That's your victory lap.
My victory lap. Yeah. Check out some of my Instagram. Sham Wow Dez. I take photos sometimes.
He does.
You know.
Wonderful.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I mean, yeah. I'll just leave it at that.
Cool.
Yeah. Fuck Dave.
Moving down the line, Dave. Anything?
Thanks.
Anything you want to share with the world?
I'll go ahead and plug the podcast once again, since it seems like I'm the one that cares about it. Yep.
Sam's head has grown. He's a champion now.
That's right.
true.
That's right.
he
I'm
got
above
it.
you.
Yeah, exactly. Who are
Got
you,
it at the
peasant?
top.
Yeah,
It's lonely at the top, Dave.
I know. No, just want to say thank you guys. That was a lot of fun, and we are the 1 Hour Photo Podcast.
We are.
So you can check us out on all the social medias once again. And if you want to look
Wherever
at
you get podcasts.
Yeah.
Spotify, Google Play, all that good stuff.
and if you want to look at my Instagram stuff, because I take pictures sometimes. It's been a while. I'm kind of hibernating right now, but I'm coming out to it pretty soon. I'm at Bear Trap. It's Bear with 2 underscores Trap. I take pictures of action figures. So
If you're into that kind of shit.
if you're
We are.
Grown men playing with toys.
yeah,
Look around.
it's pretty sweet.
I know.
Well, thank you, dude, so much for being here. Hella Greg, anything you want to throw out here?
At Hella Greg on all your favorite social medias.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Perfecto. All right. Well, thank you, Hella Greg. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Sam. 1 Hour Photo Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 106 of the Serial Chillers. Don't talk to strangers. Bye.
Yeah, I'm out of the bunker. Fuck yeah.
You've just listened to another podcast by Super Network.